Cook joins me now on Your Sports Win, and Max, thanks for joining us. You're a very happy man because at the weekend you won the British title. So first and foremost, what a great achievement that was. How are you feeling?
Well, at the minute, I'm just, it's still back to reality, being at school and everything. I'm still, it's not really sunk in yet. We've not really had much time to celebrate, what I've done this year. But it just feels amazing that I've won the British Championship. I mean, all the hard work that I've put in, what my family's put in, what the team's put in, it's all paid off, and it just feels great to finally, win such an important championship, for like my age as well. So, I mean, it can only get better from here.
What does it mean for your career now, winning such a prestigious championship that others have won and gone on to great things in?
So I've already been selected for the British Talent Cup, which is amazing. But then for the likes of Dan Jones, who won the standard class last year, he's now doing Red Bull Rookies and the European, the Junior World Championship, and he is literally in the perfect position to get into the GP paddock, which I'm hoping I could be in as well next year.
It's just fantastic, and let's for a second go back to the start of the season. You'd had a bit of an up and down season with the Replicas team. The season before, you'd started with a new team, Wilson Racing. What were the expectations at the start of the season? Were you expecting to do this well?
I wasn't expecting it to do this well. I was sort of hoping to be, with, at least be on the podium sort of thing, from coming from the open class and sort of taking a step back to the standards. I was sort of expecting to be top three, but I did not expect at all to win it 2 rounds to go, already. But it has been a close championship. People say I've ran away with it and things like that, but I don't think that at all. I've had a good race pretty much. Well, every race I've had Victor and Thomas, Jack Scott's even come on towards the end of the season, and I've actually had a race and learnt things from it, which is really good.
Yeah, so talk us through the rounds, kind of briefly. Your season got off to a flyer, you got off to a winning start straight away, and it just went on from there, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at Donington, I just sort of came in. When I was there, I just wanted to win, and I just sort of riding, I just felt really good. Like when I came into that weekend, I even remember it now, and just going into Donington Park, and I was like, I think I can win this weekend, and I did. I had a really good race with Victor as well, but I think I was first pretty much every session in my class on that weekend, so I think the season got, off to a really good start, and it went like it all the way up until round 5, until Snetterton, which is where I sort of had my little dip, where that was the one weekend where I didn't actually win a race, as I got, unfortunately, tagged on the first lap, which made me come, I think, 10th on that race, and I got a second on the Sunday's race. But after that, I was sort of, picking myself back up again. After that, I got 2 wins at Brands, and then I was just getting sort of consistent first and seconds all the way through up until now, and I've finally racked up enough points to win the championship.
Yeah. Obviously, the season before, you obviously trying to go as fast as you could on the bike and compete with bikes that were a lot faster. This season, you're obviously in the standard class, and you've ridden very strategically. Do you think this season has been an important season in terms of how you've grown as a rider, in terms of your maturity?
Yeah, definitely. Like every single race, I've had to think and plan my overtakes to my standard class competitors, because this year I've had to be riding with open class bikes who are on a lot faster bikes compared to mine. So I've had to think before about my overtakes and if an open bike can pass me down a straight, because it does sometimes mess up your race and it sometimes can work as an advantage and sometimes it can work as a disadvantage. It's all about, I don't know, I want to say luck, but sometimes it isn't. It is down to where you plan your overtakes, and it does make you think a little bit more, and I guess some say that it could make the race a little bit more interesting, but it's completely different to where it was last year, where last year I literally just went out and literally everyone was in your race, but this year, you think someone can overtake you and you're like, no, I'm going to sit here because they're not in my race. I'm not going to go for it because that can risk my race and even their race. So, it's completely different to last year.
Yeah, and you did have a couple of ups and downs during the season where you came off the bike, and I remember you having a 140 mile an hour crash at one point. I think it was in practice or in qualifying, and how did you feel during those moments?
Things like that, like you just don't want it to happen, obviously, But I remember I just got tagged by the wind. Like all of a sudden, I was there, just coming out of a corner, and the front goes, woof, and I'm just sliding there. And the first thing sort of comes into my mind is the bike, and like it's not really me. I'm just sort of there, like I don't really care. It's just the bike, just wanting hope the bike's okay so I can carry on with the weekend, and. I remember I was sort of sliding on my back and I looked up just to see my bike tumbling and tumbling. I was like, no, like this can't be happening. And I got up and I saw the bike, and it was a state. Like I was just looking on the floor. I was like, there's no way that the team can build this bike back up in time for the weekend, But they did. So.
Yeah, there was a couple of late nights, weren't there, where they rebuilt the team, and obviously the team plays a massive part in your success as well. So a word or two from you about the team you've joined this season.
Well, Gary, Nikita, they're basically they're just amazing. They're just what they do. Like Gary knows so much about racing and the bike and everything, and I just couldn't have done it without them. I mean, like if I wasn't with Gary, I don't think I would have won the championship this year. It's just there's a lot of other teams out there who get their knowledge from Gary as well. Like you see people from other teams coming in our own in to get Gary's advice on things. So it's just definitely the best team, and also the atmosphere as well. Just so much more relaxed, and it just made me feel a lot more, feel a lot better as me as a rider, being in a nice friendly atmosphere. Compared to things what I've had before as well. So it's just a lot nicer, and I can actually, enjoy the weekend, and just, enjoy everything.
And I'm sure you can really enjoy the remaining rounds, of the championship as well. So how will you approach those rounds? In the same way?
Yeah, I think in the same way, but I really am looking forward to Assen in 2 weeks, because it's literally my favourite track of all time. Just even everything about it, being in a different country with and just riding that amazing circuit is it's such a good feeling, and to also have no pressure that I've won the championship as well. So I've never actually had this feeling before, because where I won it, the Super Team Championship, that was my last round. So it's going to be a whole new experience for me approaching these next 2 rounds. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and obviously the season concludes at Brands, which is also a great place to finish as well.
Yeah, I do like Brands, especially the the GP circuit, because it is it is a privilege to ride there. Because it's only open so many amount of times per year. So I do enjoy Brands, and I hope we can. A lot of my family come to Brands because it's sort of local as well. So I'm looking forward to these next 2 rounds.
Yeah, and it will be exciting times ahead for you. We've mentioned the British Talent Cup, and you were in the Red Bull Rookies last year, and unfortunately hurt your wrist and you couldn't compete, if I remember rightly. You'll be hoping to go there again. So what's the calendar looking like for you once this season, this championship season concludes?
Well, in terms of next year, we're not too sure. We have the British Talent Cup thing confirmed, but we have signed up to the Red Bull Rookies. So that's, if I get selected, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But even if I don't, then we have the European Talent Cup, which is basically what I'm doing now with the standard Moto3, but in Spain, which is, a whole different level of riding and abilities. It's just completely different, and I think I'll learn and progress as a rider so much more there than I would to stay another year in Britain.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting times ahead, and we're chuffed to bits that you've won this championship, and we'll continue to follow your progress, and long may it continue. Max, once again, thanks for joining us.
Sure, thanks to you. Thank
Cheers,
you.
buddy.
Bye.